Welcome to step 2 of the scholarship success course. In this video, we are going to talk about understanding scholarship types so that you know which opportunities are right for you. So we'll cover different types of scholarships: fully funded versus partial scholarships, government versus university and private scholarships, merit-based, need-based, leadership-focused scholarships, so that you can identify scholarships that are right for you. Before we do that, remember to get the scholarship success guide that explains all the steps in this module, in this course. Please get the guide. The link is in the description. It will help you to understand your roadmap, the steps that you need to take, and also you'll be able to follow at your own pace. You can read the full guide so that when we go through each module, you already have an understanding what is expected of you on that module. So get the guide and let's go into module 2. Let's talk about different types of scholarships. First of all, why does it matter for you to know the types of scholarships that are there? So that you don't apply blindly or you don't apply to every opportunity that you come across, because scholarships are not the same. They don't require the same thing. They are not targeting the same thing. So when you understand this, then you are able to identify opportunities that match your profile, opportunities that match your academic credentials, or that match your experience. Because if you don't know the types of scholarships that are existing or that are available out there, then you are likely going to apply to scholarships you don't qualify for. You misunderstand what funders are looking for, and you waste time on low probability opportunities that you stand a less chance of being successful. Okay, so let's look at fully funded scholarships. Fully funded scholarships are the scholarships that I recommend you apply for, because they cover almost everything: your tuition fee, your accommodation, your stipend. Sometimes you are given a stipend and you are expected to cover your accommodation, your travel costs, like your flight ticket to and from the country of your study, your health insurance. So they are competitive, but they are life changing. They will change your life, because once you get a full funded scholarship, you don't have to worry about your education, how you are going to cover your studies. All you need is to worry about extra income or extra cash that you need. So I recommend that you look for fully funded scholarships. If you are able and you know you can cover part of your studies, then you can consider partial scholarships. This is where sometimes they only cover your tuition. Maybe a university offers you a scholarship and they say, we will cover your tuition. You have to cover your living expenses. You have to figure out how to cover your accommodation, your food, and all that. And also, sometimes they can say, we will remove a certain percentage from your tuition or your living expenses. So, in this kind of scholarships, you may need to use your funding your own finances, not funding your own finances or your personal savings or additional funding sources to cover the remaining part of the scholarship. I don't recommend this ones because I find that too stressful. While you are studying, you also worry about how to cover your studies. So if you this should be your last resort. You should start with fully funded scholarships. If you don't find any, then you can go and look for partial scholarship, provided you know that you'll be able to cover the other part. Okay. And then there are government scholarships. These are scholarships that are funded by governments, and they often focus on development impact, leadership potential, returning to your country to make a contribution. So if you know that you have been making an impact in your country development wise, or you have leadership potential, you have been involved in some leadership activities, then you can look for government scholarships like Australia Awards, Chevening, scholarships. There are many other government scholarships. And then you have university scholarships. These ones are offered directly by the university. Like I explained earlier, sometimes they may say, okay, we will cover your tuition or part of your tuition. So these scholarships are often offered directly by the university. There are rare chances where you find a fully funded scholarship by a university. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's rare because oftentimes times universities offer partial funding or tuition discounts, and these are oftentimes tied to academic performance. You have to do well in your studies for you to continue getting that discount or getting your tuition covered, and they are often tied to specific department or programs. You might find that a certain department has that scholarship provision and another department doesn't, so it will depend on the department and the program. For example, Clarendon Fund scholarships, University of Oxford, Gates Cambridge scholarship, University of Cambridge. So oftentimes you just identify a university that you want to study at, and then check in their website under funding to see if they have any scholarship opportunities for you. And then there are the ones that are offered by private and organizations that are funded by organizations. These ones sometimes they are more specific. Like for example, they would say they're funding for STEM, health, or education, and they require specific background or courses. They are more niche and specific. For example, MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program, Joint Japan World Bank Graduate Scholarship Program. If, for example, if you are into STEM, you could search for STEM related scholarships. Sometimes you find that the scholarships only target women, they are only funding women. So those are the type of scholarships that you can look for if you are in a specific niche or specific program. And then there are merit based, which focus on grades. You need to have like a high GPA, good grades for you to qualify for this scholarship. You need to have a strong track of academic record. They are best suited for high performing students. If you know that your GPA is low or your grades are not good, then this might not be a scholarship for you. This might not be a right opportunity for you. For example, Gates, Cambridge scholarship, Rhodes scholarship. So if you know that your grades are not good, then I would recommend that you don't apply for merit-based scholarships. There are also need-based scholarships. They focus on financial need or limited access to resources. But this one's oftentimes you have to provide proof, your financial documents, proof of income to show that indeed you have a financial need. For example, Harvard University Financial Aid Program, Yale University Financial Aid Program. And then there is also the leadership scholarships, leadership and impact. They focus mainly on leadership experience, community service, impact, and initiative. They are not really focused on your grades, on your GPA, whether you have a high GPA or you have good grades, but they focus on the impact that you have been making in your community. So even if you have a low grades or your grades are not, even if you have a low GPA or your grades are not good, this would be a perfect scholarship for you if you have leadership experience or you have been doing some community service. For example, Obama's Foundation Scholars Program, Mandela Rhodes Scholarship. So here's how you can choose the right scholarship. Focus on the ones that meet your profile. Do you have good grades? Maybe you can go for the merit based. Your grades are not good, maybe leadership based or need based. Focus on the ones that match your experience, your background. Maybe you have a vast experience in leadership or community development. Focus on leadership and impact scholarships. Goals, career, impact, field of study. What is your goal? which scholarship aligns with your goals, and then your strength, your leadership, your academics, your story. That is how you choose the right scholarship. So, what's important here is to understand that not all scholarships are the same. They are very different, and there are different kinds of scholarships, as we already discussed. So, you have to know the type of scholarship, their funding structure, and then you identify the scholarships that suits your profile or your reality, your grades, or your experiences. Here's some reflection questions for you, something to think about. When you are looking at those types of scholarships, ask yourself, which scholarships are you focusing on? Are you going to do fully funded, or do you have some funds that you can use to explore partial scholarships? uh, which funders align with your goals? Do you understand what each funder is looking for? Which category do you fit in? From the scholarships that we have just discussed, which category do you fit in? And where do you have the strongest advantage? What can you improve before applying? Okay, so take some time and reflect on that, and then choose the right opportunities for you. What's next? In the next, we will talk about finding scholarships you are actually eligible for. We have discussed different types of scholarships. Now you know the different types of scholarships. In the next module, we will discuss how to find those scholarships that you are eligible for. I will see you in the next video. Remember to get the scholarship success guide and prepare for the next module. All the best with your applications.